June 29th update of my perennials and my annuals in my yard. Things aren't quite finished yet for this year. I need to build my pond. I just planted a Japanese maple here. I love my Supertunia Vista petunias in the hanging basket on a stand that was built for me. And this is another hanging basket. This is one of the layered ones I had in my greenhouse. My grapes are loaded with berries this year, so we'll have grape jelly unless the birds eat them all. These are my few shade perennials. I do have a rose bush in here and a hydrangea, a new one. These heucheras have been in the ground for about 3 years. And the clematis is a stand by me, and it's gorgeous. This is a Firelight Lime hydrangea, and it's doing great. I've had it about 8 years. It's put buds on and a show for about maybe 4 years now. These are just some of my plants on my east facing deck. The two planters are filled with begonias, potato vine, and euphorbia. And up top, I have a house plant I brought out, and it's loving it. And this is a Kimberly fern. And I've put some shade plants in there, a couple ferns, and another house plant. This plant is struggling. It's going to go in my pond when I get it done. And these are pond plants waiting to go. I'll have a look at my peonies. They have been absolutely gorgeous. These are this is an old variety that I brought from our farm. This is a little rose bush that I planted last year, and it doesn't really like this spot. It's struggling. The dirt isn't very good here. I'm going to move it. This is a pearl bush, and this is a yellow lily just about ready to bud out. And this is this spirea, the Sem Falls spirea, and it doesn't really like this spot either. The dirt is not good here, so I'm going to move it as well. Over here in the front bed is more lilies. These are a beautiful red peony that I've had for years. This bed is full of lilies. I'll just show you the back side of it. This is another hydrangea that will, I believe this is the vanilla strawberry, and it's flowered a couple of years now. It's just getting ready to set buds. The bleeding hearts were beautiful. They're just finishing up. I'll go around to the front. Last year or 2 years ago, I planted Firelight Prime hydrangeas, and I just cut them back, so they should force out buds and bloom this year. This bed may get too full, so I am planning to move the rocks forward to give the hydrangeas more room. The hostas are loving this spot right now. They get a lot of sun here, but they do get a break from the afternoon heat. I have some columbines in here as well, and they're just finishing up. This is bellflower, and I just let a little bit of it stay and I pull it out. I did have a white bleeding heart that's just finishing up, and there's a couple more columbines in here. But I think the hydrangeas like this area. Over here, I'm working on a new shrub and perennial bed. I have 3 little leaf lindens, one over there and 2 here that are replacing my ash trees that are gradually dying. There's a rose bush in here, and I need to either move it or pull out some of the Dusty Miller type perennial. There's sedums in here as well. I may just cut that back a bit. But I have spireas, some pine trees, lilies, a hydrangea, 2 hydrangeas, 3 hydrangeas, gaillardia, Wichita blue juniper, and more spireas. I'm also putting in the coconut fiber as mulch. This area gets a lot of water from my sprinkler, and my ground is quite clay, so that will help absorb the water. These are the pine trees, or the ash trees that are dying. So my plan is to plant blue spruce. I have 4 blue spruce to plant in between them. And then when these are done, we'll cut them down. This is kind of a country garden perennial bed. It has a little bit of everything in it. And I kind of like this garden. It's shade and sun. I'll try and name off the perennials in here. I have Shasta daisy, I have a little hydrangea, a fall aster, some sedum. There's a lupin, or not a lupin, this is a baptisia, a volunteer sunflower, stonecrop, sedum, more lilies. You'll notice some of the plants are a little bit yellow. I'm going to give them a treatment with iron. I have some fertilizer with iron. This is a yellow peony. This is my second year having it, and it's still thriving. I don't think it's going to flower this year. If it does, I'll probably pick the buds off so that it will be stronger. This is a Japanese maple that I cut down. The deer rubbed it and broke it and killed it from the top, but it came from the bottom, so I want to see what happens. This is a coral colored climbing rose, and I'm hoping it'll either climb this pole or the gate. More peonies, lots of volunteer poppies. Some of them I pull out if they get too vigorous. Daylilies, a little aesthetic Asiatic lily, another hydrangea. I don't remember what this one is, but I have a feeling it's vanilla strawberry. These lilies, I believe, have orange flowers. This is my fernleaf peony, and it had 3 red buds on it this year. I let one of them flower, and the other 2 I picked off. This is silver mound, more stonecrop. This is an upright one. There's some foxtail growing in my peony, along with, there's another climbing rose that's coral color. This wheelbarrow was my grandmother's. I brought it from our cabin at Cypress. It barely stands anymore, but it's great for planting plants in. I have in here this year some Mangave. I just want to see how they survive. And I just put some annuals in. There's some geraniums and superbena. More stonecrop sedum, as well as there's some echinacea and gaillardia throughout this bed, as well as a lot of salvia. I absolutely love salvia. More volunteer sunflowers. The salvia will bloom a little bit longer, and then I'll cut it back and it'll bloom again later, maybe in August. I have a Karl Forster grass that's just starting to push out grass seeds. This here is a nanberry tree. This is a top form. I planted this last year and it's doing great. It had white flowers and it's going to get little berries on it. There's another hydrangea under it, and there's some yarrow over there too. pollinators love this area. I have another peony I just planted, as well as there is a flowering crab that keeps coming back, or not crab, flowering cherry tree, but the deer ate it off as well, so I cut it back. We'll see if it survives. The deer were very hard on my little pine tree, but it's got some green, so I'm going to leave it in. Not sure it's going to make anything. I planted some phlox here. Phlox are new to me, so just trying to feel them out. More salvia, stonecap. The wind was hard on things here the other day. Rosebush, I believe this is a coral. Oh, this is a pink rosebush. I need to thin this out a little bit. This yarrow here is peach color. And these are 3 new delphiniums that I planted this year. There's a white one, a blue one, and a red one. I'm loving the red one. This is euphorbia, but it's finished for the year. I'll probably cut it back. And I had a mughal pine that the deer ate right off, so I dug it out. Not sure what I'm going to put there. Always a work in progress. This bed I started 2 years ago. This is a muckle plum. I struggle with trees in the middle of my yard because of my lawn, but I refuse to not water my lawn. So I have to be careful. And when I plant my trees, I put gravel in the bottom as well as bark, and that seems to be working for me. This is I'm not sure I'm going to say this right, Gnaphobia, and it's an annual here. Now you see the deer have munched on it. I also planted some white delphiniums here. They're coming from the bottom. This is a peony. It had coral flowers on it. Or this one had red flowers, and this one over here had coral flowers. I have also planted hyssop. Hyssop is new to me. It's supposed to be deer resistant. We will see. Planted in 2 canna lilies just for fun. I have a Wyogelia that I planted 3 years ago. It came back. It's about as big as it. Hopefully it gets bigger. I'm just thrilled it's alive. This is the hardy hibiscus. I planted 2 of these. I did overwinter one last year. It's just coming back, so I'm got faith in these. They're a zone 4, so I wasn't sure. This is a pine tree that's an upright, slim one, as well as another stonecrop sedum, another coral peony, and I think this is not sure what this one is. This is an Itoa, might be a coral one as well. I planted all of these last year. This hibiscus is new, and it's going to have a bright pink flower. Little dwarf blue spruce. It's staying alive, which is I'm happy for. I planted it last year as well. Snowball bush. It had some little bugs on it, so I cut them off, and it's doing better now. Another climbing John Cabot rose bush, and another sedum. This here is a pinky promise, snowberry or proudberry shrub. It gets pink flowers on it, and then white and pink berries. It's pretty in the fall. Another stonecrop sedum. This is a yellow. I just planted this yellow columbine. They're new to me, as well as some new daylilies. This one's Kansas Kitten. It looks like it'll have purple flowers. Here's a coral charm peony. and more sedums and rose bushes. Oh, and a dandelion. This here is a viburnum. It's the blueberry muffin, and it's related to the snowball family. It comes out with, I think it's white flowers and has blueberries, and another yellow columbine. More sedum, and the miniature blue spruce. Oh, here's a tag for the hibiscus that I planted this year. And more hyssop. This is the Weigelia. It's doing a little bit better. This has been in here for 3 years. And another peony. This tree is a flowering crab, and it's about 12 to 13 years old. It won't get much bigger than this. It just has tiny berries on it that the birds eat, but the flowers were bright, bright pink. It was pretty. This bed has a little bit of everything going on in it too. I have Miss Kim top form lilac. I've had this is the 3rd year for it. It's just starting to flower. It's doing good in this location. I have grasses, Carl Forstier grasses. I just keep moving them. I have bee balm that I've just planted. And I've got lots of lilies and peonies in here, as well as echinacea and gaillardia. This here is a hardy perennial geranium. These are Itoa peonies, and I don't remember what color. I believe there's a pink, a coral, and a yellow one. Their foliage is a little bit different too. This one here is really unique. I haven't seen this one bloom. There's a hydrangea that I planted last fall. It seems to struggle right there, I'm not sure. And this is also one I planted last fall. More grass, more lilies, more peonies, a few daisies. This is a willow tree. I believe it was the reflection willow that the deer ate off, and it's coming from the bottom, so I think I will have to train it to grow up and then trim it. I'm just waiting to see what it looks like. It's been like this for 2 years now. More yarrow. And this here is ornamental onion. In the back here, I have hostas, catmint, lilies. I've planted a few more peonies. The hostas are a few years old. They seem to like this area, as well as the hydrangeas. I'm not sure the hydrangeas get enough sun back here. I have a bleeding heart, denim and lace sage, which typically likes more sun. I planted grapes here a couple years ago. They're doing okay. They are probably not getting enough sun either. This iris has never flowered before, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's huge. And catmint, lilies. Here's another denim and lace sage, more peonies, a struggling grapevine back there. 9-bark, it's starting to show signs of life. There's another fern leaf peony I planted last year. It's just surviving. Not sure if it likes this spot or not. Gaillardia, yarrow. This is a Hansa rose. More yarrow. And the vine. It didn't do much here for a few years. Now it's starting to grow. Asparagus. I have some annuals. My water wasn't working here and I thought it was, so I didn't get them watered, but I will. They're doing better now. Back here, the deer, I used to have junipers and cedars all along here. The deer absolutely wrecked them a few years ago, so I tore everything out last year and I planted barberry, rose bushes, and Tortuga juniper, which is really pokey. Barberry is really pokey. And this lemon lace elder, as well as a clematis. I have a little gem spruce that's doing okay. And I'm going to replace those 2 Tortuga junipers there. I'm not sure what happened to them. The other one is really happy. I've reseeded my grass because the deer laid here and wrecked it a couple years ago. I have a beautiful white rose bush, as well as this red one. I need to do a little bit more work back here. I have rhubarb and I have hascaps here. And I have annuals on my deck. They're doing okay. They're finally starting to grow. This flower bed here is mostly, it's full sun and it's facing south, so it gets very hot. I've got lilies, Shasta daisies, hydrangeas, peonies. This is chrysanthemum, blooms in the fall. There's a leaf from a branch from somewhere. Volunteer calendulas, and maybe some gaillardia in there too, as well as a couple hydrangeas. There's 3 hydrangeas in here. They've each flowered each year. They're a little bit slower at putting out their buds. This peony is a single one, and it's been absolutely gorgeous. This rose has a pink rose on it today, but the ones I've picked earlier this week, it's kind of bicolor, this one, have been bright fuchsia. They've been pretty. This is a volunteer ash tree that I have left, but I'm going to groom it so that it's a single stem. Trim this off. Hopefully this will survive. And there are my annuals. The orange ones are persimmon. And then the hoopla, as well as the bubblegum salvia. And I've got angel wing. Angel wing love dry, hot weather. That's these guys here. And they're one of my favorite annuals. I plant a lot of them. This here is a fall sunflower. It's pretty old. I brought it from the farm years ago. I have a honeysuckle here. This maple tree is the ruby slippers, and it has red seed pods later in the summer and fall. Up front I have a flowering crab. In the corner I have a hydrangea that seems to get stepped on there, and a little lilac. I have a snowball bush that did flower. Like I said, I just planted the Japanese maple, and this is a hydrangea that's going to flower soon. It's just pushing out buds now. It is a vanilla strawberry, I believe, as well. This one here, I thought it was dead. The rabbits had ate it off, but it just came. Over here, very south side of my yard, I have planted a 3 to 4 foot wide perennial shrub bed along my evergreen row, and it's starting to fill out. This is about a 4-year process. There's peonies, I believe this is speedwell. This is a maple tree, lilies, silver mound, catmint, ornamental onion. I just planted more baptisia this spring. This here is a honeysuckle, the DeVille, I believe it's called. This is Pentacetum, Blackbeard, Itoa mystery peony. I just planted those. This is a burning bush. It will turn bright red in the fall. I've had it for a few years. Another peony, silver mound. More peonies, more lilies, salvia, baptisia I just planted. I planted it and then we had lots of wind, so it kind of browned off, but it's coming back green. More salvia, a hydrangea, lemon lace, elder, as well as false sunflower. I may have to cut the salvia back so this can get more sun. Salvia. There's the tag for the, oh, this is onyx beard and pearl. It's, what is this called? I think it's still Pentacetum. It's just a different variety. These lilies here are daylilies and they're reblooming. Most of the daylilies I have are reblooming. This is a gaillardia, or echinacea, I guess. Another hydrangea. These hydrangeas flowered last year, so I'm expecting flowers from them this year. These are some blanket flowers. More peonies, hydrangeas. Here's a flower on the onyx and pearl. I just planted these very early in the spring. There is a muckle plum back here. I actually pulled it out of a different spot because I thought it was dead, and then it started regrowing, so I replanted it. That was last year, so but it's still alive, so hopefully we get a tree out of it. This here is the tiger eye sumac. This is the third year that they have come back. I have two of them, and they get really orange in the fall. There's some catmint. This is the cat pajama. This is denim and lace sage. I really don't know what this is. I think it's gold thistle. More peonies. This is the false sunflower. This is a American linden that the deer ate off, so it's growing again. I had a lot of deer damage in my yard, not last year, but 2 years ago. This is a miniature evergreen. It'll only get about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. Another sumac, tiger eye sumac. They could get to be 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. We'll see. More peonies. This is an older peony. I have a 9 bark that's barely alive. There's a little bit of green in the bottom. Daylilies. This is the Blackbeard onyx as well. It's a different variety of Pentacetum. Salvia. This is a blizzard snowball bush. It will be covered with white flowers. More salvia. Got 3 different kinds in there. More catmint. This is a lighter blue, dark blue. There should be a white and a pink in this bed as well. These hostas are liking this spot. They're getting part sun and shade. They've been here about 3 years. I need to do some trimming in here. This hydrangea needs to be trimmed back a little bit. It's starting to push out buds though, as well as the peony, and I believe this yarrow is a red one. And this Karl Forster grass there that's growing, as well as another peony, more yarrow, another peony, and ornamental onion. This spot right here doesn't get very good water, so everything kind of struggles a bit. I just thought I'd give you a little tour of my yard. It's a work in progress, always.